This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections.
Yes, welcome to the 2020 Klingberg Family Center Autofest. And because of COVID, we were not able to do any interviews, but we did have a chance to shoot some of these cars, and we're going to do that for you today. And I hope in the future, that everything gets better and we are able to cover this more often. But I have to commend all the wonderful people who came to this event to help support the Klingberg Family Centers, as they are just absolute great people. Yes, this beautiful car we just covered was a 1914 Stutz Bearcat, and believe me, it is absolutely gorgeous. We don't see these cars very often, and it is great. And yes, as we moved over a car, the next car we're covering here is a 1930 Chevrolet Universal. And boy, let me tell you, this car is absolutely gorgeous. As you will see in the upcoming view, this car was just absolutely beautiful. I will say the color combination of this car was real special. The orange wheels, the cream body. I mean, whoever did the work on this car, they did an absolutely gorgeous job. I mean, just look at this car. It looks like you just rolled off the showroom floor, and believe me, it is special. And yes, we did not forget you Ford guys, and this is an absolutely interesting car. This 1930 Ford Model A Cabriolet, which is really a rare car. They look like, they look like a certain model, but they really are a different model. And I'm going to tell you, the car was absolutely gorgeous. I love the colors again in this car, black wheels and like a yellowish beige. Beautiful car, absolutely gorgeous. Yes, it never ceases to amaze me what'll show up at a car show. And this 1938 Ford 1-ton Express was just something special. I'll tell you, I've been around a lot of different places. Well, boy, let me tell you, I have never seen a truck like this, and it is really rare. And just look at it. Look at the beautiful workmanship. And the colors are certainly different, yellow and brown. Everything on this truck looked absolutely gorgeous. And look at that grill. I'll tell you, talk about Art Deco. Wow, just beautiful. I mean, I just can't get over what you'll see at these Klingberg shows. You never know what you're going to see. And this is living proof right here. This Ford truck was gorgeous. And of course, the bed was just as pretty as the rest of the truck. Look at the workmanship. Outstanding. Beautiful vehicle. And yes, just to let you Mopar guys, we certainly didn't forget you, as we had a chance to look at this 1940 Dodge Business Coupe, which really brought back a lot of memories for me. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at it. The paint job in this car was really special, and everything was redone. I mean, you could just see the workmanship involved there. Is certainly not an easy thing, and they are rare. You don't see them. How many times are you going to run into a car like this? You just don't see these kind of cars. And let me tell you, the owner of this car should be very proud. It is absolutely beautiful, and we're certainly glad he came to this event today. Yes, the next car we would come across is a very nice, rare car. This 1940 Lasalle Model 5267 Convertible. And boy, let me tell you, this car was absolutely stunning. look at the color of this car and those big white walls. Did that bring you back to when you were a kid? Absolutely. And even's got a spotlight on it too. I'll tell you, these cars you see at this Klingberg event are so special, and I have to really thank Mark Johnson for putting this together, and we want to thank everybody who came to the show today to support the Klingberg Family Center, as they are just fantastic, special people, as you know over the years. Yes, this rear shot of the car is special, and you could see the looks like a GM styling involved here, but the car was gorgeous. Yes, this next car we're going to cover here has got a real special history. So this Hudson 1947 was a great company back in the day, and if you check your NASCAR racing early stages, Hudson was a prominent name at Daytona Beach, and believe me, they made some great cars in the day, and everyone I know when I was a kid growing up that had one of these cars just absolutely loved it. As you can see, the beautiful black paint, and yeah, that's our cameraman showing that's how bright this black paint was painted, just beautiful. And you could see the rear view of this car. I mean, it's almost massive, and this was a coupe. Imagine what a four-door sedan was. Yes, at this event, you just certainly don't know what you're going to run into, and believe me, this 1950 Cristallia Colombo 1100 sports car with Sicilian history was really special. I mean, just look at this car. And you could see the Italian styling all over it. And in 1950, could you imagine driving in the roads of Sicily with a car like this? They only made two of these cars. I believe one car was raced and the other one was used as a road car. But boy, let me tell you, they are certainly beautiful and in the right color. Does that bring you back to when Ferrari made their debut or what? Beautiful. I mean, look at the interior of this car. All business. And boy, the workmanship is just out of this world. I just cannot believe what you see here at the show. And yeah, here's a little history about this car, about its beginnings in Sicily. And it also won an award at the Amelie Island Concours d'Elegance. No surprise to me. But let me tell you, having a Sicilian heritage that this car has really got my attention, as these cars are so rare, and I'm so glad that we have a chance to see them at this event. Well, we just knew sooner or later we were going to run into one of my favorite cars, and yeah, this 1956 T-Bird was certainly one of them. And as you can see, it's in that traditional color there that we've seen many times. Just beautiful. Look at the hubcaps and the skirts on the fender, and I mean, these cars in their day, believe me, they were special. I was just a kid when they came out, but boy, let me tell you, I've always wanted to own one. And yes, that infamous 292 312 Y block motor was really special in the day, and it certainly in this car looks like it's ready, just like this car came off the showroom floor. Just beautiful. Look at the workmanship and detail involved. Of course, we can't forget that Continental kit, as you could see. Just beautiful. And look at the interior of this car. I mean, look at that dash and the seats. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. I'll tell you, the people that do this work have to be very special. And boy, let me tell you, at this event, you see it all. This car was gorgeous. Well, we moved over a car, and believe me, this car has got some history too. This 1956 Packard Patrician. And Packard, believe me, in the day, they were special cars. It's very hard to believe that a company that built such great cars in the early 30s would go out of business. But this car was just massive, I'll tell you. And I have to commend the people that own it, because they are certainly special and hard to find. And boy, just look at that. That car is really beautiful. And yes, we got a little bit of newer car we're going to talk about now. This 1962 Thunderbird Sports Roadster, and it's got a very unique way to how they put the top up in this car, as you will see. I mean, I am just as cannot believe the engineering that had to go involved to bring this car to let it do what it does. Look at this roof opening, coming out of the car. I mean, just get a gander of that. Where do you see that? I mean, it's got to be like a nightmare under there to engineer that thing and to keep it good. I can't get over now how good it works. So just look at it. Just unfolding, just like there was nothing. And boy, let me tell you, in the day, this car was it. This Thunderbird in that time frame was special, and you have to remember, you just don't see this that often. Of course, there was a time where they built hardtops that did this. Could you imagine the engineering that had to be involved in that? But look at this car. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, perfect fit. This car we're showing now was made famous by Ralph Nader, but believe me, he did not do this car justice, as the Chevrolet Corvair would prove later on that in reality they were not as deadly of a car as Ralph Nader made them out to be. And this car was restored very nice, I'll tell you. It was like brand new inside and out, and I have to say, I have to commend people to save cars like this, because they certainly have a wonderful history. And yeah, that little four-cylinder air-cooled motor was very special. And I just can't get over the fact that, you know, these cars are really sought after. I know a lot of people that really go out and look for them, and they're hard to come by because of the bad name Ralph Nader gave them. This 1965 Chevy Corvair was special, and believe me, we're certainly glad they brought it to the show. It isn't often we get a chance to see a prototype like this 1966 Ford Mustang, where they were trying to perfect a folding hardtop roof, and without power, we're actually doing it by hand, as you will see later on in a few minutes what they do here. And believe me, this was just an absolutely marvelous piece of engineering. Look at this car. I mean, look at the color of it was just beautiful too. You know, back in the day, that ivory green was really special when it came to Mustang cars. And I just can't get into that 289 motor, just special, believe me. But when you see this roof now fold back into the car, you are not going to believe that it's really not motorized. He's doing it by hand, which, believe me. So this is a one of one. You're never going to see this again. This car was just made special, but it never went into production, and I have to commend the guy who really did this. He was a special Ford engineer, because I know he was involved in a lot of other things that Ford did, including the curved windshield. And boy, let me tell you, I love to park this car right in my garage. Let me tell you, the person that really designed this was Ben Smith, who was just a fantastic engineer for Ford, and he did a lot of great things over the years. And of course, he's passed away now. But this car exists today and is owned by somebody who lives in Connecticut. And boy, let me tell you, the history involved with this car is special, without a doubt. And we have to commend Ben's son too for keeping this thing alive as he follows the car everywhere, and he was involved in its restoration. Thank you. Well, the next car we're going to talk about here was really one of my favorite cars, a Mustang, as everybody knows. But it's a very rare car, as it is a 1968 Mustang Gt S Code 390. And believe me, they are rare. And this was a perfect example of the car. Just beautiful. I mean, when you look at it, it just looks like it drove it off the showroom floor. And boy, I'm so glad that he brought it here for us. They had the proper documents here. I think this is the build sheet and the information from the factory, as this was, I believe, a California car originally. And we're gonna also have a list of the options and the cost of this car on the next page. And boy, believe me, you're gonna be very surprised to see what this car costs new. And yes, we have the total there, $4,523. Wow, would I love to have those days back. A brand new Mustang. Wow, just special. Can't get over it. Absolutely gorgeous. And yes, that famous 390 motor was special. Was a performance edition. And I'll tell you, those motors, between the 390s and the 427s, they were very special, and boy, we always love to see them. So we want to thank Mark Johnson and everybody at Klingberg for all the wonderful things they did to make this show happen, and believe me, we're certainly happy we are here. And due to time constraints, we are going to add another part of the last show we did here to finish up with this, what we did today. And boy, let me tell you, I just can't wait to come back here again next year for this event. Yes, we got Ron Polonsky with us. We're here at Klingberg 2019, and with an absolutely gorgeous 1954 Corvette, and in my favorite color, white. And tell me, Ron, what do you got? Tell me about this car.
Well, it was America's first sport car. Came out in '54, and they introduced some '53s as show cars. It was America's first fiberglass body car, sports car. It's a 6-cylinder. It's very, very old. 6-volt system showing its age.
Wow, 6-volt. Huh?
6-volt battery, yes. No power steering or power brakes. That wasn't even heard of yet on this model. Other than that, it's got the power glide, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
The panoramic windshield was a big fad. This set fads. All your 55 automobiles afterwards copied this design. The public loved it. It's about all I can say about it. White wall tires were the thing of the day.
Of course, white, right?
Yeah, whites. Yeah.
Now tell me, how long have you had this car?
We found this car in Hershey, Pennsylvania in 2003. It was 16 years ago. And I kept it the way it is right now. I've done nothing major to it, little scratches now and then. That's normal because we drive it. And to have a lot of fun.
Now tell me, where do you call home, Ron?
I'm from Preston, Connecticut, and everybody says, where's that? Well, if you heard of Foxwoods Casino, that's right in my backyard.
Well, everyone knows where that is, right?
Everybody's been there.
Yeah. Have you come to Klingberg before?
Yes, I've been here to many shows. This won the Presidential Award a few years ago here.
Well, I have to commend you. The car is absolutely gorgeous. I would love to park this car right in my garage. I'll tell you that.
I don't blame you. Maybe I'll take you for a ride a little later if you're around.
Well, we want to thank you for having an interview with us, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Larry.
You were excellent.
Thank you.
John's car was beautiful, but unfortunately, while taping this event, our camera had a problem with audio, and we're going to have to make this show combined with a previous show, too, that we also did here at Klingberg, as we did that on Father's Day weekend. And let's hope in the future we don't run into that problem again. But boy, let me tell you, this Corvette was absolutely gorgeous. As the cars that were here were just special, believe me. And yes, Wayne Carini would show up with this absolutely gorgeous Mustang GT 350. I mean, this car was gorgeous. I cannot believe the condition this car is in. It looks like you just drove it off the showroom floor. Boy, would I love to park this car in my garage. And boy, let me tell you, it was pretty. Of course, when it comes to race cars, you know it's a national, it just naturally appeals to us. And this 1949 Allard Prototype was just a beautiful example. I mean, look at this car. It's hard to envision that the type of work they did back in that day. And believe me, this car caught our attention. As you could see, it was just gorgeous. Look at the details to this car. Something special, that ain't even the word for it. How about the detail in the compartment here with the dashboard? And look at this car. I mean, everywhere you look on this car is special, and I can't just get over, you know, what they did in the day. And of course, the appeal to the race cars continued as we ran into this Lancia. I mean, it looks like a rally car, and boy, let me tell you, this thing was just absolutely gorgeous. And yes, the number 16 Lancia was special, as you could see. I mean, just look at the detail in this car. And yes, the appeal to race cars continues as this beautiful Ferrari race car, part of Team Pilota, and boy, let me tell you, this car looks like it was brand new, and it just caught our attention. And wait till you see the motor in this car. I mean, this mid-engine car is really special. Boy, I'll tell you, I don't know how you work on that thing. You must have to hire some gremlins to get in there, because boy, there ain't a lot of room, but a lot of motor, as you could see. This Ferrari was special, and we're just so happy that they had bring these cars to Klingberg so we could get a chance to get a look at them. And of course, Champions Race for Charities says it all. And believe me, this car was special. In red, a Ferrari in red, as you can see, really looks gorgeous. And yes, it must have been our day as we came across this beautiful vintage Bentley old race car, or they used it as an event out on the West Coast. I mean, just look at the car. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm telling you, we really caught some luck here today, as of course our audio went down with the camera. We couldn't interview a lot of people. Boy, let me tell you, we certainly took some beautiful pictures of very special cars, and this Bentley vintage car was one of them. I mean, just look at the condition of this car.
And in 1934, Tom learned about Klingberg watching an episode of Chasing Classic Cars, in which Wayne helped present a
And yes, as we come to the conclusion of the show, I want to thank everybody for watching, and please return next week to our next episode on Racing Action Today. And I want to thank everybody naturally at the Klingberg Center for all the wonderful things they do, and as usual, their events are just special. Thank you. This program is brought to you in part by R2 Pictures and real estate broker Larry Mangello.